In 2008, every Pixar movie got a video game tie-in, and most were total garbage. But is WALL-E different? I waited 18 years to play it, so you don't have to. Is this a low-effort cash grab, or did we actually miss a hidden gem on the PS2? These Pixar tie-in games weren't just one game ported everywhere. Different teams built entirely different versions for each console. While the Gen 7 consoles and the Nintendo DS got their own versions, the Gen 6 version, developed by Asobo Studio, is a completely different beast. And that's the one we'll be playing in this video. We're immediately dropped in to the title menu that has a lovely little beat to it. We've got all the options you might expect: unlockable minigames to play in co-op, purchasable cheats, bonus content such as trailers, clips from the film, and purchasable concept art. We'll come back to some of this additional content once we've unlocked some more. But for now, let's get stuck into the main story. The first level is B&L Tune-Up. We start on the ruined Earth among other WALL-E robots 700 years prior to the film. An alarm sounds and we're tasked with immediately reporting in for a checkup. This is our tutorial level. In order to progress past this opening section, we'll need to collect blue energy charges to open the locked B&L security door. We can use the left analog stick to move and the right one to move the camera. And oh hey, the menu music is here too. That won't get annoying. Some robot arms drop crates that we can break open and drop 5 energy charges on the floor to collect. With the second crate dropped, we have the 10 we need to unlock the door and head through. Task complete. Next up, we'll need to put our hoop skills to the test. Grabbing a junk cube from a nearby junk pile, WALL-E will automatically take aim and...
That's what I do!
2 3-pointers later, we've got another 10 energy charges and can move on. Do they have Pro Circuit for WALL-E players? Because hit me up. Now for the classic obstacle course. We'll use our box form to slide under some barriers, break through some crates for even more energy charges, and get some air doing sick flips to get over barriers. And then, oh my god, is that a half pipe? Holy shit, this has skateboard mechanics. Jumping at the peak of the half pipe is going to get us over the edge and into the next room, where it's time to show Tony Hawk how it's done. This time the ramps are real and we'll need to use some mad skills to get WALL-E fast enough to reach the crates hidden on the upper platforms. Don't try this at home. Having successfully shown how badass we are, it's time to do some daredevil stuff. Ramps and shit. We need to mix gravity and ramps this time to maximise our speed and perform a pipe transfer to make it over a massive gap. Woo, that was intense.
Damn!
To cap that excitement off, it's time to use our lasers. Yes, frickin' lasers. We'll need to charge them up first, so naturally, it's off to the slot machine. Because remember kids, gambling is fun. Lasering our way through a box, we get to enjoy our reward of replenishing our health by charging in the sun. Man, this really is like Atlantic City for kids. For the next sections, it's time to put what we've learned to the test. We'll need to clear our way through boxes and move a digger by throwing junk cubes at it. With the tasks complete, it's time for us to haul ass out of there before a sandstorm overruns the area. With the level cleared, we get the usual screen showing the points we've earned for completing the level, which can be used to purchase the bonuses previously mentioned on the start screen. On the screen though, we get this lovely little loop of Put On Your Sunday Clothes, the infamous song from the movie. I don't really know what I was expecting at this point, but honestly so far, this game has this really upbeat and heartwarming vibe. Like, I'm in. I want this game to break my heart like the film did. Bring it on. The next level jumps ahead 700 years and it's time for a time trial. Another sandstorm is on the way and we need to race down to safety. We're given a target for some crates to destroy along the way, which I assume will lead to more bonus points and rewards at the end. I was kind of thrown off guard a little by this level. There's a cutscene and next thing I know I'm racing down a hill with a timer and there are crates to run through and laser and oh my god, was that a shortcut? Yeah, I think I missed a good chunk before I realised what was going on. The next day though, it's home sweet home and we get a little more freedom within the level. We can now use R1 to go into first person view and look around and collect hidden artifacts scattered throughout levels. The first hidden artifact we find is a pair of binoculars, and when we look through them we see what looks like another functioning Wally unit. Tasked with checking it out, it's time to explore in earnest as we climb to the top of the tower. We have a little run around destroying boxes and checking for other artifacts. It's only a small area, so there's not many, and some of the crates are elevated, and I thought that maybe we would need some kind of upgrade or something to actually reach them with our laser, but it turns out you can just use your laser whilst you're in first person mode, something the game won't actually tell us until the next level. With what little we're able to got, we head out into the greater world to start our climb. Oh, that tiny little thing was the entire level. Okay, anyway, in the next level we're now closer to the Wally unit and need to start our ascent. To do that we'll need to reach the building and find out our way to the upper floors. To do this we'll clear some boxes to lift construction equipment to use as a ramp to get over a fence, laser an energy crate to destroy a sand vortex blocking our path, throw explosive boxes at broken security gates, and play Simon Says until we have the 50 energy charges needed to activate a giant digger and wreck a building. Once we're inside the building, we work through what appears to be some kind of meeting area to find all the crates to get enough energy charges to unlock a lift that takes us to the top. I get a feeling that most of these levels are going to be small environment puzzles and mandatory destruction of every crate in an area to give you exactly the amount of energy you need in order to proceed. After a perilous climb past electrified solar panels, balanced steel beams, and high-octane skate tracks, we finally make it to our fellow Wally unit, only to find that it is in fact defective. It's waving only a broken arm brought to life by the wind.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never.
On the way down, we are distracted by the modern wonder that is a fridge and laser it open to discover safely inside a fresh green plant. The next day, a laser appears and we follow it to see where it goes. But it only moves when we get close and its direction changes based on where you approach it from. So you have to follow it but also kind of guide it to where it's supposed to be. I do a few laps around with it before destroying all the boxes in the area in the hopes that that might make a difference. It does, but then I don't know if I've actually made a difference to it, or if I just got lucky, or I managed to somehow do the prerequisite number of loops in order to move on. Either way, the laser takes us to the edge of a cliff where more lasers close in on it and a ship lands. It drops off the more advanced Eve bot and we give chase to try and make contact. We chase her through a ship graveyard and end our chase with a playful race. Another storm kicks up though, so now it's time for us to take control of Eve as she flies through the storm, destroying debris and obstacles as we carry Wally to safety. Back in the safety of Wally's trailer, Wally shows off all of his stuff to Eve, including the plant we just found in the fridge. This causes Eve to shut down, and while Wally collects more junk, leaving Eve to come back online, the ship returns and takes her away. We'll need to race back down from the junk tower in an attempt to rescue her, and we reach the ship just as it takes off again and cling on to the ladder on its side. Making our way up the ship's exterior as it soars through the cosmos, we need to use our laser to defend against satellites and chunks of space ice coming our way. We reach the Axiom unscathed and sneak past the security inspection, but Eve is taken away by the ship's robots, so we embark on an elaborate, action-packed chase sequence to keep close to her. Racing between hazardous material, across the tops of automated vehicles, and through the bowels of the Axiom's transport network. We do eventually catch up to her just in time for the coppers to get us, so as Eve finishes off her journey to the bridge, we fend off robotic stewards before they get close enough to zap us away from Eve. Arriving on the bridge, the ship registers the plant and begins to initiate Operation Recolonization. But when going to confirm the specimen, the plant has mysteriously disappeared from Eve. Thinking her defective, the captain orders her to be sent to the repair bay and sends Wally for good measure. Wally falls off the transport car right by the entrance to the robot bay, and we'll need to complete a series of small puzzles to get the 100 energy charges needed to unlock the next room and continue the chase. We enlist the help of the Axiom's broken and rejected robots, who will follow us whenever we play Put On Your Sunday Clothes by holding L1, and with their help we're able to sneeze, box and resuscitate our way through all of the rooms and collect all of the energy charges. Having made it almost all of the way to Eve, we're blocked off once again as two steward bots leave the area, taking the security keys with them. The first is located in the repair lab, locked behind a glass cabinet and a moat. To gain access, we infiltrate the surrounding security rooms in order to deactivate the security systems protecting it. Once we've reinstated the inner and outer platform, raised the glass screen and defeated the security bots, we collect the security key and head to the engine room to secure the second key. In the engine room, I feel like the puzzles are starting to get a little bit more elaborate. We're mixing some of the new mechanics together in more interesting ways, and they're not by any means hard, but it is nice that we've moved on from just destroying all the crates in an area. I do also love that in these dark vent shafts, the little robot rats are called Remy's. A nice little touch. Engine room puzzles complete, we rush back to Eve. Wally gives her her arm back, accidentally firing its energy weapon and releasing more damaged bots to escape and alerting the steward bots. The next room is called Human Highway, and first up we simply have to get from one side of the room to the other room to join Eve. But to do so, we'll have to use explosive boxes to destroy the Optibots blocking our way, lest they alert the steward bots to our presence. With the room cleared and the security barrier down, we move on to the next room where we play Frogger across an actual human highway. Then we have to use our cube throwing skills again to take out sentry bots and release Eve from another security barrier before another round of Frogger. In the next room we need to cross a platform that looks like something out of Star Wars to reach Eve once again, and in a side room we find an artifact of Rex from Toy Story, and I discover that even though I've been kiting the steward bots around in order to laser them to death or stopping to throw cubes at them, I could have just much more effectively headbutted them the entire time. Clearing the platform, we move on once again to another round of Frogger, raise the floor in a narrow corridor by throwing some more cubes, before we play a final round of Frogger, and that's the level over. Eve has guided Wally to an escape pod, intending to take him to safety off of the ship, but a steward bot enters the room, and Eve and Wally hide as the bot drops the plant in the pod. Wally rushes into the pod to rescue the plant, just as it is ejected into space. We use the pod's blasters to destroy incoming asteroids and space debris before escaping the pod as it careens straight into a massive asteroid. With Wally heading back to the Axiom on extinguisher power, he's lost control and it's up to us as Eve to catch him before we lose him forever. This is the second of these short Eve flying race type levels, and they are probably my least favourite so far. Like most of these levels, they're thankfully short, but the controls are just a bit awkward. You're either at a dead stop or full speed, so you often end up stopping and starting to keep Wally close to you and have better control over where Eve is going. It's just a tad annoying. Like many of the minigame style levels you can unlock, this is a separate game mode as either a mini solo game or to play competitively. Back on the ship, Wally and Eve are now wanted as rogue robots if you will. They attempt to sneak away on land and transport but are again spotted by a steward bot. With the bot giving chase, we attempt to neutralise it with our laser as we progress through another on-rail section. Once we're off, Eve climbs into a ventilation shaft, finds her way back to the bridge and gives the plant to the captain. But Otto, the ship's AI captain, prevents the human captain from taking the Axiom back to Earth and disables Eve, casting her back down into the ship's systems. With Wally unable to stop her sliding down to the bowels of the ship, we give chase through the ship's garbage processing, falling all the way down to the ship's landfill where Eve has been compacted into a giant junk cube. We use our laser to free her before she is unceremoniously ejected into space, and Eve is damage zone, so we'll need to explore the mounds of junk around to try and find the parts we need to fix her. We need to collect 20 parts scattered throughout the junkyard. I was hoping that this level would be a bit of a free exploration one to try and find all the parts needed, but it turns out it's just a fairly standard level layout, a linear series of basic puzzles and platforming that loops around to Eve, where having collected the 20 parts needed, Wally sets about to repair her. With the repair a success, Eve flies us all out of the landfill and back to the main area of the ship, where the captain gets a message to Wally and Eve instructing them to get the plant to the Lido deck before Otto can stop them. In a mad dash through the ship, it's time for, you guessed it, more Frogger. In fact, this whole section is a repeat of the previous level section where we chased Eve, splitting our time between Frogger sections and puzzle platform sections that culminate in an arena fight that sees us defend against waves of security bots. The ship starts to dramatically tilt as the captain fights with Otto on the bridge. With the ship fully on its side, we need to navigate our way through to the hollow detector before it fully closes. Wally gets there just in time, using his own body to prevent it from fully closing, just as the captain manages to shut down Auto and take control of the ship. Eve puts the plant in the hollow detector, which causes the ship to immediately hyperjump back to Earth. Cut to the ship back on Earth as it lands in its dry dock and its citizens head out to start rebuilding the planet. Wally is in bad shape though, and Eve rushes out of the ship to return Wally to his trailer, where we can find the parts desperately needed to save him. It's another Eve flight race mission, but we successfully manage to get Wally back to his trailer, and Eve does in fact repair him. Not all has gone to plan though, as the repair seemingly causes Wally to revert back to his default programming before quickly coming around and reuniting with a relieved Eve. And that's the credits on Asobo Studio's recreation of the hit Pixar film WALL-E. You may have noticed that there are some key scenes missing from the game that are in the film. Some of this is a result of the film being condensed down to make the levels work, as certain sequences just don't translate well, and some of this is a result of the game being based off of an earlier cut of the movie itself. For the most part though, the game does actually do a fairly decent job of recreating the movie's plot, despite the pacing feeling a bit all over the place and the ending definitely feeling rushed. Once the credits have rolled though, we get an epilogue. The humans are starting to rebuild, but the steward bots, still following Auto's directives, are still attempting to steal the planet and neutralize the rogue bots. The epilogue lets us re-explore around Wally's trailer, now in a much greener area, and tasks us with speaking to the captain. This was when I thought, now maybe things would open up a bit more and there'd be more room to explore in the epilogue and maybe do a few side quests. Instead, we get 3 tasks from the captain in order to retrieve the stolen plants. Firstly, we need to chase down Gopher to recover the plant he stole. This is just the same race circuit we first raced against Eve on, but now in reverse. The next race is a loop around the entrance of the destroyed building we explored near the beginning of the game, and lastly is a repurposed course through the Axion's docking bay. With all of the plants returned for the captain, we then need to help Mo. For these missions, we'll need to rescue rejected bots by destroying all of the steward bots. Again, these are all just repurposed small sections of previous levels. First, we rescue the resource bot from the ship graveyard, then rescue the makeup bot from the digger we used to get into the building earlier in the game, and lastly, we rescue the boxer bot from the Axion's docking bay. We get a little scene of the bots and humans working together to plant the plants, and Wally and Eve fly off into the unknown. We're dropped back into the main menu where we can replay any of the missions, including some challenge race missions that we have previously unlocked. Now we're back in the menu, let's look over some of those bonuses we previously mentioned unlocking. There are 7 cheats to purchase and 7 to be unlocked with codes. The purchasable cheats don't really add much to gameplay other than one, which gives Wally infinite laser charge, something that wasn't really an issue anyway, and I was pretty carefree with the laser. With the rest just changing visuals or changing the music that plays when pressing L1 to songs from either The Incredibles or Ratatouille game soundtracks, the remaining unlockables are concept art for the game, which is nice but doesn't really offer much of interest. Minigames are also available as either head-to-head versions of certain levels, or championship competitions, either solo or against another player. Where do we stand on WALL-E? Is it a great PS2 game on a whole other level to other movie tie-ins? No, not really. At only 5 hours in length, the game manages to stretch the film out while also feeling like rushes through the plot. The levels are linear, repetitive, and not particularly exciting. In fact, that's probably my biggest takeaway from the game. The good vibes I got from the first handful of levels quickly turned into boring levels that were all over just too soon. So I played WALL-E 18 years later, but should you? I think you can safely miss this one out. If you have an evening to kill and either love WALL-E or want to crank out some easy achievements, then crack on. But otherwise, you aren't really missing much. Is WALL-E the worst movie tie-in? Did you play it as a kid? What other movie tie-ins or classic games should I play next? Let me know in the comments below, drop a like and subscribe to see more content from retro, classic and early modern games.